background for research. And the second is that if some of you become interested in the future, want to do some research in the platform, you're more than welcome. Since I have less than an hour, I'll be quick on some of the things. So the research, the idea behind SmartPal project, in my research career, I've been studying gamification and also using analytics and machine learning for decision making. And naturally, as many of you know, gamification, one of the major area application is education. So we've done various research, various related to using analytics in the educational settings. But this one, after a while, we said, my collaborators from University of Oklahoma said, we know how to publish, and we can do research. Maybe we should put the money where our mouth is, and we can do something. And so we started this project. So we thought of maybe it's a good idea to combine gamification and chatbot. This was in 2019, before ChatGPT is a thing. So we started that. So this been kind of accumulated over the years. So what we saw, what kind of problem we are hoping to solve? We are observing that the challenge from both sides of education is one, the challenging facing students, they're distracted, disengaged, even more so in recent years, after a pandemic. They also have challenges navigating the complex platform like Canvas. And oftentimes we're observing that they have questions, but they're shy or hesitant to ask or approach teachers. Sometimes just don't get help. And even to get help, they might not get personalized support. On the other hand, as teachers, maybe future teachers like many of you, we struggle even more. Nowadays, teachers are very stressed. They're overwhelmed. They just don't have enough time to do everything, including answer student questions. And oftentimes we don't have good insights on student progress and the challenge they're facing. And we hope to get more granular feedback on our work. There was a curriculum design, instruction, content, but oftentimes we don't hear them enough. Yeah, even with a platform like Canvas. So what we do is, as an information science researcher, we tend to, from the lens using theory and technology, solve problems. So first of all, we thought one of the important things, actually, this is is the theory guidance. I think you guys perhaps more familiar than me. So self-regulated learning theory is one of the theory that's repeatedly shown very linked to educational performance. So it's one of the guiding theories. We thought this theory provided maybe a framework for intervention. Things like people, when students can self-regulate their learning, like planning ahead and execute and reflect, then they tend to do better. Can we support that process? We know the process is hard. With things like having them setting goals and keep track of their goals using technology, and help them do their time management, and help them to do with their help-seeking behaviors, as well as reflection. One of the tools we use is a chatbot. With a chatbot is a good tool for helping with several aspects of these. For example, the forethought process, we can help them to set goals and help them even plan for short-term things. And as it goes through the semester, we can help them maintain, do performance feedback, as well as remind them of the assignments. And eventually we help them, remind them to do performance self-reflection, as well as giving them performance feedback, giving them a chance to reflect on their own learning, what works and what doesn't. This is a high level, we use a chatbot for these various things. This slide may be a little more technical, just kind of revealing a little bit detail on how we do these things. So we do have a mobile app that eventually connected to Canvas. Don't need to worry about the icons. When the student asks a question, we have a classifier basically classify their intent, like what kind of question it is, because depending on the question, we might need different kind of information resources to answer that question. And that the intent was guided a specific tool, the large language model provider, and we oftentimes we provide a context. The context can be structured data and unstructured data. Structure data could be something like your grades, your assignments upcoming, and your submission status. And unstructured could be the course content, the slides, materials, and sometimes lecture videos. These are combined to provide this context large language model and combine with the question. So the large language can use the context to provide the context that answers the question. So this shows the kind of the back end. We connect to Canvas course, and we kind of use periodically synchronized Canvas things like documents, video transcript, and otherwise student data and submission data. So to give you a kind of a little bit flavor, students ask various kinds of questions, sometimes more than we can handle. But these are a few I pulled from yesterday's log. For example, student might ask me, what's the next quiz? That shows that we classify as a grading related. It says, okay, the next quiz B in this course, and still so. And interestingly, it says it'll be in the room and don't share the access code. How did you know this? I'm guessing the instructor has instructions for the quiz, so it picked up and added to the event. And good luck. And the other ones, has my recent quiz been graded? It says it was due, but grade wasn't. There's no grades. It says, okay, maybe I've not updated yet, but please be patient and check that later. So because in this case, we don't have any information. And this question is longer when people ask, what is enterprise application? This has to do with a course. You get a lengthy answer here. Oh, so key characteristics, customer relation management system, ERP document. This will likely draw from the course lecture materials, slides, and so on. The next question, this question actually we did not design for, but I still come up with some answer. We haven't completely sure, but this one says, how should I say for the exam? They give you a bullet of things over there, but you need quizzes, but you're covered, focus on assignment, because you can help you secure additional points, and so on. A lot of things are missing, but it did refer to by before, like in the element, and they're not different. So, so that's a little bit flavor. This is actually the latest. In a year ago, it wasn't as performance. A lot of questions actually just simply misunderstand or couldn't answer, but we're improving. So having chatbot is good, but there are other things that we need to worry about. Oftentimes is how do you motivate students to use additional tool? They don't automatically happen. The research shows a lot of times educational chatbot student, it's additional thing you need to pay attention to and install the app. So we do need to actually motivate them. So the motivation aspect. If you think about chatbot being informational aspect, we need also motivation. So that's where the gamification comes in. And we don't just gamification for anything, but really focus on, again, for self-regular learning activities. So here are the few things we focus on primarily based on the data that's available in real time to us. One is whether they submit things on time. So if you're self-regulated, you should keep up with the course, and that's indication you're keeping up. The other one's Canvas page views. On Canvas, they provide these page views, anytime request a page, whether it's assignment page or course lecture page, they record as a click basis Canvas page. Okay. And we also, this is coming from our app itself. Our students reflect weekly on the learning. So did they complete it? And then did they tracking the time, dashboards and used for chats? So another sort of source of engagement. So we want to build a positive feedback loop, and we think findings. I guess many of you might be familiar with points, levels, and badges. I'm going to skip these slides, but show you the UI of our app currently. So I think the top part is a little bit, okay. I think I click on this OK sign here. This is we have levels from new to pro to one more pro to epic. Okay, so the avatar would actually from a baby Cooper change to something else. We have facts of the gym. We have progress towards next level. There are only 3 levels. This is, we have 3 dimensions based on how many gems they can earn each week and how many they are actually earning. And we do have a leaderboard here, so we create all time. We typically play the top 15 or 20% of the course. This is based on the gems they've earned. Okay. So I'm primarily talking about the student side. We realize actually this platform works the best if both sides can be engaged. So we are over time developing the instructor tools for improve their efficiency, the teaching, and also empower them with data-driven insights. So here's what we currently do on a weekly basis. We send instructor weekly briefing, as well as provide them instructor portal where they can access the data in real time. So the weekly briefing basically something like giving students the current score on Canvas and all they set for the course. But this one empty, that means you didn't register for the app, so they didn't set the goal. And then how they sense last activity on Canvas, and then hours and spend of time, and then instructor also get a word anonymized, like the one I've shown before. So they can see what kind of questions. Instructor also get weekly reflections. So this part actually was hard to do, the reflections, because students don't voluntarily fill these out, but the instructor do want them. So this semester, we try to provide more incentives with associated credits or extra credits. So here's an example of instructor. This is from, I think, last week. So we asked them 3 questions. One's a rating question, and second one's what worked well, and the other one, what challenge is. So you can see this is for a specific course. And that course I looked at last week, they had, I think the first few weeks we didn't get many, but this course has 200 students, 200 or 300 students, they got about 160 reflections for that week. So I think students are becoming engaged, hopefully. And now at the point we need to do an AI summary of these because just reading through them might take time. Yeah. Okay. So quickly, what we think of SmartPal versus some of the chatbots. Here are the main 4-dimensional differentiation. One is it's proactive. So we actually send them reminders, ask them to reflections, and give them performance feedback without them asking, because you can't. So those are kind of give them a good dose of information about their own learning progress. The second one is contractualized, as you can see, that is it's based on the course progress content. And third one is optimized for learning. So the entire app is learning focused. If you ask a question outside of the learning, it will say, I'm not designed to answer, except for the chit chat questions, simple ones. And actually, my co-author here, Professor Teng Ye, my colleague here, we actually done another study to study how we can make the chatbot work better for learning, because we're worried about the ChatGPT are not the best for learning. So how can we design better? And the last one is also we involve teachers and kind of in a more collaborative way. So hopefully that provide healthy collaboration between them. Any question? I know I went through quickly. I don't have less than our time. Yes.
Are there any tools in the platform help instructors better understand this question? If a bunch of students are asking kind of the same question,
Yeah.
maybe the idea wasn't tailored as well as
Yeah, you can get it. With questions in the class. So that question is for me to why do think what happened to how do they what will they be faced with let's question you like correctly the same thing you need to reflect. You can see how many looking reflections here. But here the deficit because they're saying that this is like the fluctuation or pinpoint. So maybe I could do something. Right.
So I was really excited to see celebrated
Yeah.
I computer, and I was wondering if there was any, but I think that's more difficult to train your compared to like cognitive and cognitive or written cognitive. So I was wondering if you were taking cases that SmartPal didn't really give different systems of advice or maybe or it was so hard.
Or yeah, I want to be perfect. This or something or something as far as specifically sure I guess it's there we didn't the input from that but when you rely on the intelligence of these large language model providers, we're mainly kind of provided a right context and right information so that they can be as knowledgeable as possible. As a research platform, we're first and foremost researcher. We conduct research on it. We made it super easy for instructor to participate in the study. They just need to add one of us as instructor, SmartPal. We have an email to add as instructor of the course. They can specify the incentives for research participation. Sometimes a 1% course credit or 2% course credit. And the rest is actually automatically handled by us mostly. So for them, they can just start receiving weekly emails and get access to the reports. We do have, the system has good data for research, of course, as well as the granular performance and activity data. When it has scores, when it's submitted, page views, hourly counts. Fortunately, the candidates don't provide more detail about which specific page they click, but we know the hourly counts. We have chat log, American history, so on. We also integrate surveys. We have one background survey, one end survey. Every student does that. So we can use that to collect some more behavioral and psychological variables. And then we design a facility for integrated randomized experiments. So these are done at a student level. So we student randomizing. Usually we randomize it based on system features or UI features. For example, one of the things we did was randomize 80% students to receive emails that encourage them to install it. And the remaining 20%, they don't receive such. Another example is 75% students randomly chosen to receive some reminders. The other 25% don't get some reminders. And then 40% students get AI quiz feedback. The other 40% get less detailed, and the other 20% don't get any feedback. So these can be conducted, and we have already framework for doing that and keep track of all the experiment data that make it easy for analysis. As the platform, as we do for full disclosure, we reported to the university. So it's actually a university reporting mentioned to the university. University has a license, but over time we'll develop a kind of special license for research, make sure the researchers, at least for now, the University of Minnesota researcher can potentially use the platform for research purposes. And So give you an example quickly. This is one of the, we additionally measured last year, measured the effect of SmartPal on overall learning performance, among other things. This is a model-free evidence, just based on the people who choose to install SmartPal and who don't. You can see the on-transformation, the big gap, and the final score has a decent gap, almost from B+ to A or A- or B- to A. And all the other shows significant difference. Since research, so this is all the evidence. But the one thing we did was my collaborator did this smart design is since we have randomized encouragement, we use encouragement as an instrument. Basically, because those are totally randomized assignment. Whenever the encouragement calls more people to sign up, that's the kind of exogenous shock we're doing. And then we can use a version regression for IV regression, this randomized encouragement as instrument variable. Then we can do causal estimation. So basically you get average treatment effect among treated. And that shows the result actually persisted. Final score makes it bigger for the student for the effective adoption. So that's the size of the effect. And group assignment shows that, and quiz shows significant. This one's curious, maybe because the test, so there's some test elements, maybe because the score is already very high, much room for improvement. Okay, so I have any question there? I haven't talked about the research specific experiment I'm focusing on today. So this one I'll be going quickly. So this is a specific field experiment. We use the platform. Our focus is on integrating chatbot and gamification. So this is a joint work by collaborators and former students and current students, Professor Andy Lee and Professor Radhika and Scott and Ramin. So I'm gonna skip, in the interest of time, I'm gonna skip the, I briefly mentioned the motivation is one early challenge we had is students are not voluntarily using this tool. Despite we show there's some evidence of performance improvement, the adoption is not that great. So we want them to not only adopt, but also consistently using it so that they can get the most benefit. How do we do it? One of the challenges we identify is, chatbot being a sparse tool, they only once in a while they get a question, and then maybe you think, oh, maybe I should ask the chatbot. Maybe the other day they just didn't even remember asking or open the app. So they're very sparse, they can't establish a familiarity and like confidence in using it. And they are not very motivated to kind of learn this new tool. So that's where we thought it can be combining with gamification. So our idea is actually simple. The idea is, the gamification about thing is very dynamic. Anytime you get a new jam, you get a new level, we could treat it as a moment of celebration. We use chatbot to send them a message. Hey, chatbot said, congratulations, you made it top 5, and excellent work. We need some combine the picture. So that their chance of interaction, hopefully also give them positive sentiment towards the tool, so they can be more comfortable, more confident in using the tool, so that we can promote both. So these are a bunch of different from gamification and we use the treatment. So basically one group get those treatment, the other group don't get such treatment. For the group don't get the treatment, they just go to the app, they can still see the dashboard, they can still see their status. But for this group, they get on the app, they get deliver a message to them. And they also, if they enable push notification, also get push notified. So that was the simple idea. We think that will increase, first of all, we think that will increase their level of SRL, self-regular learning activity, and improve the learning motivation. This is simply derived from gamification, because our gamification is about focus on this activity where they can earn gems. The more you can provide them immediate and frequent feedback, that enhances the positive feedback loop. And because also we're celebrating them, so give them the kind of the psychological rewards. And so that will help them to become more, whether submission or checking on Canvas frequently and so on. Self-reflection, same time to promote the learning motivation. The second aspect we think that are helpful is the self-efficacy for self-regular learning. And also mouthy, it's about I'm confident in my own ability to regulate my own learning. So if they're not confident, they are not practicing it. The reason is the following. We're not born to be self-regulated. We need to practice and have good results. And this gives them a chance to actually kind of, as they submit, then they got a learning gem delivered to the chatbot. They get reinforced. So that's a kind of direct mastery experience. Is they do something, they got a from the chatbot, they got kind of rewarded. So as you reinforce those self-regulatory activity, it helps them become more confident in their own ability to regulate. Right. So that we hope to improve. And we also think that will help the overall app engagement and perceived usefulness of chatbot and gamification features overall. Even though the features are limited to just the gamification, we think that there are spillover effects. As you check out this message, you're on the app, you might as well check other features of the app, as well as check out, so you become more engaged in the app overall. You might say, okay, let me check my leaderboard also, or let me chat with chatbot also. So that will help the overall. And finally, if you can improve the learning, self-regular learning activity, if the theory is correct, then we should be better. Even though we're not directly designed, target learning performance, but in theory, if you're better regulated, you should do better in the course. So this is a kind of overall experiment workflow. It's very typical for many of the studies conducted on this platform. At first, we have instructor recruit instructors and instructor that add us, and we then enroll the students voluntarily for them, and we conduct a pre-survey that asks them something like age, GPAs, and other things that you want to ask them. We do randomized encouragement. 80% get sometimes 80% get it. And then the encouragement hopefully have more installations, higher rate of installations. And then we at this point we do our actual treatments. One group get identified notifications and the other one did not get from the chatbot. And we when we collect learning outcomes. And then, of course, we also conduct a post survey to measure various things like learning motivation, self-efficacy, and perceived usefulness. And we did this with 600 students across 8 Android courses, and about 490 of them adopted the app, and 427 did surveys. So findings, we got particularly across the board support. This is a contrasting the control group where they did not get integration features. The treatment group is the one that got integration features. You can see the on-time submission. There's a significant lift. And self-efficacy, there at the end of the course, when we asked about their self-efficacy self-regular learning, we also did a pre-test. Yeah, we did a pre-test control for pre-test also. And you can see that they are more confident at the end of the course when we ask them in general, are you more confident in managing learning? Not specific about this problem, just asking a general question. But actually, we're happy to see that shows improvement that suggests that in the future they confident in practicing self-learning. And then I'll also show the final score was that set of feature alone leads to more. These are the rest are a bit more details. We combined. We have subjective measure of self-learning. Well, we have measure of self-learning activities based on these dimensions. I mean, in general, on-term condition improvement. We also did a little bit more granular to look at things. They're basically supported, and also motivation and self-efficacy. It also shows significant improvement. The different approaches analyzed. So in short, just they're supported. App engagement would show that the pavement group, on average, the baseline is like this is like they don't at the time the app is not sparsely used. On average, they use 3 days, and then this one is another 2.6 days app usage days, active days. Dashboard views, leaderboard views, basically across the board, we saw the improvement of engagement with the app as well as the chatbot. Especially this one, you can see that measuring the number of chats initiated by the student, because sometimes the system send them chats, they don't respond, but sometimes they ask a question. We saw there's also a healthy bump. Even though the information is not led to improvement to often. That would be the spillover effect. We measured this is a subjective measure, and we measured the behavioral engagement, emotional engagement, and cognitive engagement through survey questions. That also shows a significant positive effect. Usefulness, the app shows the lift there, the baseline 2.5, I think it's a 5-point scale, and then it's 0.4. Chatbot, I have to say the chatbot at that, when we did an experiment, I'd say 30% of the time it's not working, like, or even more. It's not very well robust, but this one helps them to have a better impression. Learning performance again. So questions. I went so quickly. Yes.
Why?
No, it's about third. %, or 70%? We have extra credit incentive. And encourage play a big role. We can encourage people.
Like for like when you're like today I have figure like all the time like that kind of stuff like that like so like you know, like for teachers like this their kids like correctly or like the facts.
Very good question. At first, we didn't do it, and we didn't ask them to do anything at first, other than tell us what they wanted to do. But this semester, we started giving them some tips. Like, first of all, the grading what percentage you consider to be A. Many people don't specify or didn't configure it specify, or having deadline for something they don't have deadline. And there are a few other things. Basically, those things are not there yet. The start description or quiz description to kind of cover goals and tips. When these things are not there, the chatbot will not answer those questions. And student asked them and said, how can you prepare for the quiz, or what's gonna be covered? We have no information. So those kind of things we start giving structures, if you do these things, you're gonna save a lot of questions from students, and the chatbot can help them better. I don't know how many of them complied, but I do see that as being it goes as being a done, because students ask them so quickly, so often, and we couldn't answer that for construction. So that may be related to it. Yeah, so we kind of handled the knowledge back to the structured business data, because this is the area we broadly insert them, and that's the instructor responsibility. Yeah. But we're busy, so try as much as automate if we could. Any other question? Yep.
They
I didn't show here a specific score. I think we might have some kind of set score, just didn't. They're both positive and negative. Yeah, so I think we got a full, there are people, more qualities. So, yeah, we do ask them in where to go in person for people. I think the amount of positives is the people are indeed I think they like to get those things. And also like to be reminded performers that don't miss. And some of them at the time they said the chatbot, the feedback, the challenge they had something slow and then instead of function or getting heard, which indicated pretty special with hopefully that. The other kind of problem they have is I wish this one online. We did for selected courses, we don't have them over the order. I try to install the user app just for these courses. Other courses, have I think that's a big gap that we're not carrying the order for. All the pictures here, they're like oh, this one. I mean, the majority of the experiment we've done is within our cartoon school. We did work with you from the school. In early days, we done the courses. Collaborate in a welcoming structure. Okay. Currently, each semester we do about 10 auto courses. Kind of keep it relatively small scale within quite. Any question from the online? I did not know. Let me check. Okay, so if there's one, you let me know. So a little bit about contribution and my perspective. I think my perspective of SRL needs to be updated. I hope to learn from you guys. I do think that SRL in theory has a lot of, involve a lot of cognitive processes, but being a technologist, I hope that technology has a lot more room for contributing in that process. But what I felt that theory is so high level, it didn't give more tangible guidelines to how you could aid this process in design. We kind of have to use our own intuition to fill the gaps. But Panyu told me that actually there are better frameworks that provide more guidance for design. I hope that's what we've learned here, what works and what doesn't work, hopefully that kind of push that frontier. How can we aid student enterprise? We know this is effective and important, but people are not Supermans. They need to have their help. So how we can do that, I think that still is being a fruitful area for research. And the other one's gamification. I think we do address one kind of challenging gamifications. When you have those low interaction frequency settings, people tend to not view the app or adopt the app so easily because they're very sparse. We provide a kind of a design opportunities. If you can use those chat apps sort of things, providing a way of celebration moments that could be a positive thing for the gamification designs. Yeah. Since I have a few moments, I mentioned briefly about the experiment I did with Professor Tang Ye here and my colleague and Andy. So this is a separate study but related. We did, last semester we did a field experiment, studying the impact ChatGPT on learning. This is a very high level overview, just one, two slides. Our focus is, we worried about people asking all these ChatGPT questions for the assignments, and it's going to be negatively impact their learning. But we want to see how, whether, and wants and nuances, as well as how we can overcome that. Because we do see platforms like SmartPal have a chance to kind of utilize the tool differently, because we use the ChatGPT differently. We can optimize for learning if students on the platform. Maybe you can tweak something that's more effective than publishing. And that'll be a kind of, instead of worrying, we can make it work for us. So that was kind of the original motivation that where the research question comes from. So we did a field experiment with several master level courses. And so what we did is after lecture, we have them enter a practice period on their laptops, and they can complete a series of practice questions. Some are multiple choice, other are open-ended questions. And we provide a tool side by side. One group got search engine, so give them a search engine, you can search whatever. And the other one, we give them baseline ChatGPT, so you can ask ChatGPT questions. Maybe the practice question, you can paste it in there and then ask the question. And the other one, we create a special version of ChatGPT. We use the prompt engineering, basically. We call it guided discovery ChatGPT. So that is based on the guided discovery principle is we don't give the answer right away, but really provided the context, knowledge, and having them arrive at the answer instead of provide a straightforward answer to it. So we kind of basically, I think every reason in a context, knowledge that leading to the answer except for the final answer. So, and they have a chance to ask additional follow-up questions if you don't feel that current one helped them enough, they can ask a question. I think they can keep asking, they will review the answer, but not right away. Did we review the answer? I forgot whether we reviewed the answer for multiple choice question at least. And then we follow that up by a paper and pencil exam. So this will be the actual assessment of the learning without access to any GPT or any search engine, but this is a practice period. We're emulating how students are using it, because I think a typical instructor don't let them use ChatGPT in an exam, but they might prevent them from using during the homework exam. So that's what we want to learn. And what we found, takeaways, high level, students, we let them voluntarily use the tool. Okay, so can you feel free to use it, search engine or ChatGPT or Cloud Discovery. Students prefer use ChatGPT, the baseline version, much more than search engines. That's not surprising, right? So they like ChatGPT more. And kind of the guided discovery version GPT is in the middle. Like they still prefer better than search engine, but not as frequently as the baseline version ChatGPT. What we found, this one's interesting, is we had two kind of questions, multiple choice question called the closed-end question, and the open-end question where they give a problem, they need to write reasonings. So what we find is when they use ChatGPT for multiple choice question, answer those questions, you saw that if you ask the ChatGPT question, multiple choice question on ChatGPT, you can get elaborate explanation and answer, right? So when they use this, it hurts the learning. Hurts the learning in terms of assessment, paper and things of assessment. It does improve the performance when you practice. So they get better performance and you can help GPT, but when you test them, it's worse than search engine. And worse the other way. However, there is a good side when you're using ChatGPT. Our guidance covered version of ChatGPT don't have a summary heading. We thought is that, yeah, so I think I'll from the explanation part, but interestingly, when you are using ChatGPT for open-ended questions, we do not find actually the ChatGPT helps compared to the ChatGPT version. If you use ChatGPT for open-ended questions, actually helps for example. What that's interesting is that tell me, I said, aha, when I give assignments, I should not use multiple choice because I would give them open-ended question. Feel free to use ChatGPT because that helps their learning because I try to minimize the hurt part. Overall, ChatGPT does not remember by learning compared to search engine. Fangle search engine, even though the student paid to use them, but their ChatGPT doesn't know better than but we find is GPT when they mitigate the negative impact on the multiple choice questions, it can lead to overall learning performance improvement. And it's right. So those are kind of the main findings, the takeaways from that. Yes, I'm looking at those questions. Oh, what? So these are high level. I didn't have a more detailed, but these are the main things I want to talk to you about in the questions.
Question? Anyone?
Yes.
Thank you, this is really great. I guess like in 5 years. It's like I see a lot of people. This is a nice way to think on SRL sort of like grounding what you're doing with the groundwork, like in your vision of this in 5 years and where people that how did it change?
It's clue.
Yeah. Right now, I think people are trying to push the boundary of chatbots. Do you think?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I think and hopefully so that move that I think that people need Basically, train our student English student. This is something really different. I think that I feel I think we still and for
Is there any? We have like one quick question. I guess everyone's question is pretty long. Complicated. Well, thank you for a very insightful talk, Doctor. Please join me another talk.
anybody has some snowy day. No, it's allowed to ask on Friday. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you haven't, please put your name.
I'll be staying around a little bit if you have a question, want to chit chat, I'll be happy to do so.